Hi guys, Simonster here. In this video, I'll be talking about how you should breathe during resistance training. A simple and common recommendation is that you should inhale during the eccentric portion and exhale during the concentric portion of an exercise. What this means is that you should take a breath in during the negative or easier phase and take a breath out during the positive or harder phase of a movement. While this is a useful recommendation, it's not the only way to breathe through strength training. For certain exercises, and especially heavy work, many powerlifters will hold their breath through the entirety of each rep. This is done by using the Valsalva maneuver. What this means is that you take a breath in and trap air in your lungs forcefully to brace. You can practice this by taking a large breath in using your diaphragm so your belly expands. Then close your airways and try to breathe out. Your core will naturally tighten as you do this. The effect of the Valsalva maneuver is an increase in intra-abdominal pressure. This works like a back brace as your muscles and organs hug your spine and increase stability. This allows you to stay tight, which can improve performance and reduce risk of injury. Some coaches recommend against holding your breath as it can increase blood pressure. While this can be a concern for certain people, such as those with cardiovascular disease, for most, the transient increase in blood pressure is fine. It's worth pointing out that simply lifting weights also increases blood pressure, and at a certain intensity, a brief Valsalva maneuver is unavoidable. Even when you're trying to breathe continuously, you're probably bracing through the sticking point of an exercise. We also use this frequently in everyday life, such as when coughing or trying to move something heavy. Another concern people have is that by holding your breath, you could increase your risk of fainting. While this is valid, you can just take a breath between reps or exhale as the movement gets easy. For example, you can exhale once you get past the sticking point and inhale before starting the descent. This way you ensure you're bracing for the challenging part of a lift, and this is generally how I perform most exercises. It's also fine to hold your breath for multiple reps at a time, and powerlifters often do so. Just make sure that if you're doing this, you don't get dizzy or lightheaded. If you feel like you need to breathe, you can take multiple breaths between reps. Finally, when it comes to static exercises, you can just breathe at a comfortable pace. For most isometrics, I recommend breathing continuously throughout the hold. These can be relatively shallow breaths if you want to minimize movement. As with dynamic exercises, it's also fine to hold your breath for brief periods of heavy exertion. Just make sure you don't get dizzy or lightheaded if doing so. In summary, the type and intensity of exercise will influence the way you breathe. Holding your breath and bracing is totally normal and doesn't need to be avoided in strength training.